Hey guys, what's up? My name's Seb and welcome to Versus right here on Jump Inside Games. This is probably one of the episodes I was looking forward to when I came up with ideas of Versus. This is a theme park versus match between three very special theme park games. One of them being Planet Coaster, the other being Roller Coaster Tycoon World, and the other being Park Beyond. Now, I think it's very important that a theme park builder game has at least rides, roller coasters, and all that kind of stuff. So I'll be kind of building three different parks with three different rides each, two being normal rides and one being a roller coaster, and we'll put that head to head and see which game just has the enough stuff to make it a pretty good theme park game. So without no further ado, let's get on with this. So we'll start off with Planet Coaster. Planet Coaster, by the way, is my personal favourite. So, I'm probably going to give this a bit more up points, and I'll explain why as I'm doing it. But this isn't about my opinion, this is about your opinion. Which one do you like the best? Please tell me in the comments below as we proceed with this video. And basically, one thing I absolutely love with any theme park game is the amount of details that you can put into it. And I think for me, this particular game, it just allows you to have the maximum creativity, especially when you could just place down an entrance and make it look like whatever you want. So if you want to place down something that you've got from the Steam Workshop, or you can just get it from in-game, or if you really want to, you can just build your own off by heart. It's completely free of the range of how much creativity this game allows you to actually do, which is great because I think that's perfect. I mean, I think any roller coaster game with maximum creativity is brilliant, and I think all three of these games do somewhat of a very good theme park creativity to allow you to create whatever you want type of games. I think this one has the most into it. That's my own opinion, but we'll just go into these games as we go into them. One thing that I think is very important is also like the camera detail and the pathing detail. If you can get the camera and the path correct, it's going to really help you out as you expand and build the park into however you want it to look like. So it was pretty much the cameras and the actual pathing detail. I think the camera could be improved a little bit, but overall I think the actual design of this park was absolutely brilliant. Being able to place down these rides and actually just have some rides going was a very easy thing to do. There were quite a few rides inside this game, and just the detail of what they look like in the menu screen really helps with what they actually look like when they're placed down in the park. I started off with this ride over here, which was the first ride that I came up with. Then I connected the path to the path, and that was nice and easy to do, and pretty much to open up the ride was also a very easy thing to do as well. Once I got the first two rides in, I also wanted to test out what the fast track was, and that was to allow the guests to actually quickly skip the queue. I'm glad this game actually has that inside it, and also you can kind of decorate everything in this game, from the pathing detail to anything. This game has got full creativity into it, and I absolutely love it. The next experience with this game was to actually build a roller coaster. Now, the roller coaster was actually quite fun to do. I wanted to do something like a twisty roller coaster, so I brought the tracks up a little bit. To actually understand what all the buttons did inside this game was very easy to understand. You just hover over it and it kind of tells you what they all do. It's a very nice track building game, and one thing that you'll find out different between all these three games as I show them is the roller coaster building is very different on all of the games. This game is very nice. It feels very, very real. It feels very interesting for a roller coaster game. I'm always wonder what they're going to change in this with the next Planet Coaster game, and that gets me excited. But for this game as it is, I do very much like it. One thing that I must say about this game is it's got like auto-complete things, which is very nice. Not that you'll really need it for this type of game. It's very easy to just build these tracks and design them how you want them. Also, there's also testing, so you actually have to do a test before you open up the ride. This is to make sure the track can do a full circuit, so when passengers go on, there's not going to be any errors or mistakes. One of the things I did find out a bit later is you can have multiple versions. So if you wanted like two rides of, let's say, 4 carts each, you could have to 4 carters going throughout the ride constantly, which can be quite fun. Yeah, I think that's quite an enjoyable thing of what this game can actually offer. But at the current point of where this stands, I just built like a 1 ride with 8 different carts, and I thought it was quite fun. Also, it allows you to ride the ride in first person, as you're seeing right now, and I think that's a really nice thing to allow you to do as you're doing ride testing. It's a nice thing to do. I love every portion about this game. I have to open the ride up, and after building queues and paths and exits and all that kind of stuff, I haven't built the exit just yet, but I will be doing in just a second. I completely forgot about doing that while recording this video. And basically, it just all the customers can just come straight on, and they can just queue up and just start riding on the ride that you've just built. It's amazing. I absolutely love it. Lots of the people inside the park have needs. So, for example, some want souvenirs, some want to eat food, some want to have drinks, some want to go to the bathroom. And one of the things that I found out is you can have prefabs for actually building these kind of little lot things. So I built some prefabs, but there's also comes with a lot of designing stuff as well. So you can actually just place these things down solo, and you can design them exactly how you want them. I had great fun just creating loads of trees in the background of these prefabs. So like you kind of get to choose the creativity that you want inside this stuff, and I just had fun kind of like doing some nice little side designing. It was great, and just to be able to have all these prefabs here, just to be able to allow you to have all these shops and stuff looking quite nice. It's great. Again, it's just really nice the amount of creativity that this game allows you to do, and to also have the limit of being able to either download it from the Steam Workshop or just be able to create it yourself. You get to like have the ability to have as much design into this park as you choose, or have some of it pre-designed for you. I think it's great. I love this. Now, I was in debt by the end of this gameplay, but before we got in debt, we had like loads of queues queuing up to the roller coaster, loads of queues queuing up to the rides. There was places like hotels to sleep at. There was places you could go to the toilet, loads of benches you could sit down, bins you could throw food rubbish into. It just had this whole ability to have this whole park here looking absolutely brilliant, and to be able to have and to factor in all the guest needs was just brilliant. I just absolutely love this, and it just well done game for being what it is. Now, the next game on our list is Park Beyond, and I absolutely love Park Beyond. Park Beyond is an absolutely amazing roller coaster game, and I completely love it. Basically, in this particular game, you get to actually, like you did the previous game, build a theme park. You get to choose loads of different types of maps. You can actually see them here on the left. On the right side, you've got a setting section, and there's loads of difficulty settings, there's funding sections, and you may notice there's like land extension, Sophia's Park in, ride facility declines and all that kind of stuff. These things, when left unmarked, allow you to unlock the full park. I didn't know about this when I was recording it, so I will mention that I did accidentally leave Sophia's Lamp on, so I was limited to a certain amount of rides. But you unlock them as you get more guests and you progress in level. Now, one of the reasons why I'm putting these 2 particular games head-to-head against each other is because how much alike they are against each other. However, this particular game, I found, wants to be its own kind of thing, but still have that Planet Coaster vibe. So I do see a lot of inspiration from Planet Coaster, but there's a lot of things that are completely different. I had a bit of time struggling going through the menu, searching for items that I particularly wanted. So, there was a thing where I was looking for prefab entrances. I couldn't find them in this, so it took me a while to actually find where some of these entrances were. I ended up going with something like this. I just had to get it built right. It took me a while to also to understand the controls, but I did that with the previous game and pretty much with all the games on this list. So this game doesn't have really difficult controls. It's just it takes a while just to all of the games to understand the controls. Again, when you understand controls in a video game, you do kind of you can pretty much play the game a lot easier. But all 3 of these games have a little bit of different controls in all of them. So for this game, yeah, I ended up with just a simple entrance. The The pathway was fun to build, and I didn't have many issues with any glitches in the pathways. Now, I do in the next game, which is Planet Coaster World, which I'll get into when I get there. But for this particular game, I didn't really get that many difficulties with building this path, so I was really happy with how the path building worked in this particular game, how all some of the connectivity stuff worked, like where the pinpoints were, where those little green little circles were, so I could actually pin the exact point I wanted for the paths. It was tricky doing one of these, this particular one over here, but I ended up just deleting some of the stuff on the side, so it just made a bit more sense. Just like the previous game, you can choose where you want the entrance to be and where you want the exit to be, and then you can connect that up to the pathway. Once everybody is ready, they will come onto your ride and ride the ride that you have built. It's as simple said as done. It's like that in all 3 of these games. People queue up and go on the rides. Now, if you don't want to get too much into the finer details of creativity, this game really does offer some really nice, cool prefabbed game designs that you can place down and just have in your park. This is really nice for if you don't really want to, you know, fully design stuff. So for example, you may just want to have your own roller coaster and design it to your own needs and place the rides where you want to place them, but you're not really that bothered about creating themed like, I don't know, food stands or drink stuff, and you know, and you can kind of just have pre-designed stuff that you can lay out by yourself. So you know, if you want kind of like a more speedier roller coaster game, or a roller coaster game that concentrates more on, let's say, rides than it does on food and drink stands, then this game is probably more of that direction, which is kind of nice. It does aim in that area. Now, I'm not going to go into this too much, but I liked kind of like this ghost prefab, kind of like it rides as you're building it, so you can see if your ride's actually going to do what you want it to do. I also like some of the facts where you get to really have quite a lot of creativity when doing this. The ride building is very different in this game than Planet Coaster. With Planet Coaster, you have to build section by section. With this game, you can just drag the mouse to exactly where you want it. It gets really nice with the building. Now, I'm not going to say it's 100% fully the realism of what Planet Coaster's trying to do, but then again, I'm not very much of a theme park understanding everything by hand type of guy. This kind of brings me to a point where I'm like, okay, there's quite a lot of creativity. It knows it's a video game. It's going to allow you to do things that only video games can offer. So it's like, okay, yeah, we're going to try and have a nice, fun theme park game, but we're going to be a little bit more experimental with giving you extra stuff to do. When I was done, I was able to put this ride under testing and then eventually build a queue and actually open this ride up for guests to actually queue onto it. One of the things that really annoys me about this game, and this is the only thing that will really annoy me and bug me, is these guys will just teleport onto the ride. I don't like that. I like it when you go through that gate and you run and you find one of those little open door gate things just before the ride, and those things open to allow the guests to come onto the ride. Now, I know that's just a little thing, but it just makes it a tiny bit more immersive. Right now, those guests are just waiting on that queue, and they are not going through that gate and getting ready to go onto the next ride. It just annoys me a little bit, but I'm not too bothered about it. Also, just like in Planet Coaster, it allows you to actually go on head cam, so you can actually play as or be as the guest. You can't control what they do, but you can see what they're seeing, which is nice. And just like before, you get to actually ride on your ride. So this lovely ride that you make, you get to actually ride it. And I absolutely loved it. This was great. It was a great experience to actually build a ride like this and then actually ride it myself. It was great fun. I love it when theme park games allow you to do this. Again, this game allows you to put loads of different detail into it. Some of the stuff is like you get to really design what you want things to look like, and some of it's like quite prefabbed. So for like things like drink stands and all that kind of stuff, a lot of that it can be prefabbed, but there are other things that can be not prefabbed, like, I don't know, like you could build certain things like walls and structures and all that kind of stuff. So it does allow you to do some stuff like that, which is quite nice to do. One of the things that I found quite tricky in this game, and it wasn't very obvious, was bins. I had loads of chairs and loads of food and drink stands, but there wasn't any bins around the park, which was a little bit annoying. Eventually, I found them inside this other thing over here, which was like shops and facilities. Again, one of the things that I found quite interesting about the menu is it was all designed as like images and stuff like that and not as actual text. So I had to kind of make it out of what something meant by looking at an image. I think the one thing that could very much improve this game is if they had words next to the icons. I think that would actually help. I know why they're putting icons in is because they're attaching the whole menu to the left side of the screen, which they're just allowing you to see more of the screen that way, be able to see different things in different areas. It's just their own style, and I get it. But again, I don't know, would this game benefit if those things were actually, said stuff as well? I know if you hover over them, they'll say stuff, but, if they just said stuff anyway, maybe that might help. I mean, it does say stuff in the bottom right-hand corner, so I don't see why they wouldn't just do that. Maybe you could, have a switch to turn text on and text off. That'd be kind of cool. But, yeah, apart from that, again, absolutely love this. Now, this game offers quite a few numerous amount of rides, as you can see on my screen. It does offer about 6 roller coasters as well. Now, obviously, there'll be a bit more that it offers if you download DLC packs and all that kind of stuff, just like you would in Planet Coaster. But for this game, on base level, it offers you 6 roller coasters, which is quite nice. And as we move into our last game, this is Roller Coaster Tycoon World. Oh my, oh my, oh my, what are we seeing here? By the way, if you can see some of my screen here, you'll see some people walking around there, and you see a big Ferris wheel and like a swinging boat thing. Now, you might see that is a little bit low FPS. I'm going to just confirm to you, that is not this recording. It's not anything to do with my editing. It is exactly what I'm seeing on screen. This menu screen, I'm going to be very fair, I'm not impressed with. It doesn't sound me a good roller coaster game on this menu screen right now. I feel like that's just a little bit low FPS that I'm used to. It feels very like I'm seeing something lag a bit, and I'm not a big fan of that. There are a few things in this game that I'm not a big fan of, but we'll get into them. So let's go for it, shall we? So as we start off inside this game, we start off with this lovely road, this parking space. Now, I'd love this entrance if it wasn't for one interesting fact. The developer has hidden the Atari logo into the roads. Now, I'm okay with you advertising your game company into products, but having it slam dunk there right on the entrance of the park before anyone enters, sneakily as well. Like, if it's a big Planet Coaster game, or Planet Coaster, that's okay, that's the name of the game. But this is kind of like the people that made the game is sneakily put into the game. It's a little bit sneaky and a little bit game advertising, trying to like promote yourselves. No, we can see you. We can see what you're doing. Continuing with some of the path stuff down here, so you actually get to own the full park as I've done just here. We're going to play with unlimited cash because why not? And we are going to try and get used to some of this build. Now, some of this build, as you can probably see on this game, it's got some very interesting path designs. I like the fact it's not fully copying any other theme park game path designs. I'm not a big fan of it, and you'll see why a bit later, but at the moment it was doing okay on me. I had these rides that I didn't actually know the controls over, but like I say in the other games, it takes a while to actually fully understand exactly what button does what. Turns out the turning rides button, or turning things, is actually pressing shift and using your mouse wheel to scroll. Sorry for anyone who doesn't have a mouse wheel. Now, one thing I found quite interesting about this game while playing it was just the amount of ride variety in this game, just as much as all the other games. Like, between each games, it had such a different variety of what type of rides you were able to access. In this game, we had a circus and a concert, which was quite interesting. I don't know what to say about that. I don't know if you would classify them as theme park rides, but clearly they're in the game, so I built them to see how people would react to them. Just like the other games, you can add in your rides, and you can pretty much customize certain things around your park. So, for example, you can add in like loads of different food stands, loads of different drink stands. I had them spread out. You actually have to click on them and click on open on each and every one of these things. Otherwise, people won't actually be able to access them. I don't know if there's an easier way to do it, but for the time that I played this, I didn't find much control over being able to open them all at once. One of the things that I generally had fun with doing, and I'm not going to go over the beginning part because you kind of know how most of these rides are built right now. I had quite an interesting time actually redesigning this ride. This is a roller coaster that I ended up building. There was something between Planet Coaster and the other game, which was Park Beyond. Between those two games, I kind of liked the nice in between of those two games, and you know, I thought there was kind of some nice variety. We had kind of like this track ride going around here. It was quite nice to build. I found it quite tricky to do one of these weird kind of cool things. I don't know why it didn't let me build this, but I didn't actually end up building this after this prefab speciality stuff. But for what I was allowed to build, I was allowed to do this lovely little track ride that I built in the previous two games. Now, I don't completely hate this game. It's not the worst game in the world. I know it was very bad when it first came out, but what this is right now is it's kind of an okay game. I mean, I will point out some pointers of why I wouldn't get this over the game Planet Coaster. I think Planet Coaster definitely has some more okay detail in it than this game. This was the only game out of the three that when I zoomed down on things like paths, it had some really weird glitchy path errors, and I just didn't like it. This wasn't in the other two games, or at least I didn't see it in the other two games. One of the things I did notice was sometimes I just see people just randomly just stopping for no apparent reason while trying to do something, and I didn't really understand what caused that. So sometimes the game would just like, you just see some people would just start walking on the spot for a while. I don't know why that is. You see that with just some of these characters. But if one thing really does annoy me, it's when these characters on this roller coaster, and to be fair, I do like the fact that this game allowed people to walk up onto the roller coasters through these stands, so I do appreciate for that. That's great. Why are all the passengers putting their hands up in the air before the ride has even begun? I mean, I'm just being honest here. I don't like that feature. I don't know why that's a thing. Don't put your hands up in the air like you just don't care if the ride hasn't even begun yet. Like, really, is that actually a feature in this game? That's not a simple bug fix you can fix. I mean, I don't want to be rude or anything, but maybe we should just do the simple thing. Let's all just stick to the lovely, realistic game that is Planet Coaster. It's just a wonderful piece of art, and I absolutely love this. And I can't wait for number 2 to come out because it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Or if for some odd reason you want to play a game that's about roller coasters that isn't fully unrealistic and you get to do like cannon jumps like that you can only do in a video game, then maybe, just maybe, Park Beyond might be the game for you. Anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. This took me a while to make, and I generally absolutely loved making it. Anyway, which theme park game is the theme park game for you? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in another Jump Inside video. That was Versus. Now, I'll see you later. Goodbye.